Hello everyone, my name is Karan Kumar Patel and my student ID is 100951299. In this video, I will discuss whistleblowing laws in three different countries, Vietnam, Turkey and Japan. Let's start with the Vietnam. So this is sub video 1A. Vietnam has two major laws related to whistleblowing. The law of anti-corruption and the law of demunications. The first law we will look at this is the law of anti-corruption, which was originally passed in 2005 and amended in 2018. This law specially target competition within the government and public sectors. The goal of this law is to promote transparency and the accountability by implementing a series of measures designed to combat corruptions. One of the critical aspects of the law of anti-corruption is its protection of whistleblowers. The law ensures that the individual who report corrupt activities are safeguarded against the retaliation and their identity are kept confidential and they are provided with the necessary support. The enforcement of this law is overseen by the government inspector along with the other relevant agencies. Unfortunately, corruption within the very agencies tasked with enforcing these rules has partially undermined and its efficiency. In spite of this, subsequent changes have attempted to solve the issues and improve whistleblowers' protection. The second law is the law of the denunciations, which was initially passed in 2011 and also amended in 2018. This law provides a comprehensive framework for reporting various wrongdoing, including corruption, fraud, and abuse of power within the government and public sectors. The law of denunciations includes specific provision to protect whistleblowers from retaliation, ensuring that those who come forward with the information are not subjected to adverse consequences. The enforcement of the law on denunciation is managed by the government inspectors and the other relevant authorities. Despite the robust legal framework, the effectiveness of this law is limited due to the public fear of retaliation and a general lack of trust in the protection mechanism provided. Many potential whistleblowers are hesitant to come forward because they are not confident that they will be protected from the reprisals. This is sub video 1B. Moving on to Turkey, we will examine two key laws, the Turkish Penal Code and the law on the right to information. The first law we will discuss is the Turkish Penal Code, which was enacted in 2004. This code covers whistleblowing related to a crime such as corruption, fraud, and abuse of office across various sectors, including government and commercial sectors. The Turkish Penal Code provides protection for individuals who report this crime to the authorities, ensuring they are safeguarded from the retaliation. The enforcement of the Turkish Penal Code is carried out by judicial authorities. However, the effectiveness of this law has been mixed due to political influence and the lack of strong protection mechanism. These factors can discourage potential whistleblowers from coming forward as they may fear retaliation or believe that their reports will not lead to a meaningful action. The second law we will look at is the law of the right to information, which was passed in 2003. This law primarily covers the government and public sectors, allowing citizens to access information held by public authorities. By promoting transparency, the law supports whistleblowing activities as it enables individuals to obtain evidence and information that can be crucial in reporting wrongdoing. The Board of Review of the Access to the Information is responsible for enforcing this law. While the law on the right to information has generally been seen as a positive step towards greater transparency, its enforcement remains inconsistent. This inconsistency impacts the overall effectiveness of the law as it can result in gaps in the availability of information and deter whistleblowers from coming forward. This is sub-video 1C. Finally, let's discuss Japan's whistleblowing law, the Whistleblowers Protection Act and the Labor Standard Act. The first law we will examine is the Whistleblower Protection Act, which was initially passed in 2004 and amended in 2022. These laws provide a comprehensive protection for employees who report illegal activities across various sectors, including government and commercial sectors. The 2020 amendments to the Whistleblowers Protection Act have further strengthened these protections and clarified the procedure for whistleblowing, making it easier for employees to come forward with information about wrongdoing. The Whistleblowers Protection Act is enforced by the Consumer Affairs Agency and other relevant authorities. Despite its robust framework, the law effectiveness can be affected by cultural factors in Japan, where there is often a strong emphasis on loyalty to the organization and reluctance to the report misconduct. This culture attitude can discourage whistleblowing and impact the overall effectiveness of the law. The second law is the Labor Standard Act, which was initially enacted in 1947 and has been amended multiple times since then. This law covers the employment and labor sectors, providing protection for the employees who report violation of a labor law. The Labor Standards Act ensures that whistleblowers are not subjected to retaliation such as dismissal or other adverse action for reporting violation. The enforcement of the Labor Standard Act is managed by Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. The law is generally seen as effective in protecting labor rights, although enforcement can vary depending on the specific circumstances and the willingness of authority to take action. Video 2A, let's examine a significant whistleblowing incident in Vietnam. In 2016, Mr. Pham Chinh Dung, a journalist and a former government official, exposed corruption within the state oil gas giant Petro-Vietnam. Mr. Dung revealed that Petro-Vietnam has involved in a series of financial mismanagement and corruption cases, including embezzlement and a dubious investment that lead to significant losses for the company. These activities contributed to a broader issues of corruption in a Vietnam state-owned enterprise, impacting the economy and public trust. After blowing the whistle, Mr. Deng faced several repercussions. He was arrested in 2012 on charges of conducting propaganda against the state. Although he was released in 2013, he continued to face harassment and surveillance. In 2019, he was arrested again and sentenced to 15 years in prison for his activism and reporting on corruption. The unethical activities at Petro-Vietnam were partially addressed. Several top executives were protested and sentenced to the prison for their involvement in corruption. For instance, former chairman Dean La Tang was sentenced to 13 years in a prison. However, the overall effectiveness of anti-corruption measures remained debatable due to ongoing issues with the enforcement bodies and the political system. In summary, while the whistleblowing incident led to some accountability, the treatment of Mr. Dung highlights the risk faced by the whistleblowers in Vietnam and the challenges in addressing system corruption. This is a sub-video 2B. Now let's look at a major whistleblowing incident in Turkey. In 2013, the Gezi Park protest became a significant event, revolving deep issues within the Turkish government. During this period, a whistleblower known as Saidu Fort Avni began to leak information about a government corruption, including illicit activities involving high-ranking officials. Fort Avni disclosed details about various corrupt practices such as embezzlement, money laundering, and illegal wiretapping conducted by the government. These revelations painted a troubling picture of the extent of corruption within the Turkish administration. The whistleblowers identify remain anonymously, but the government launched a massive crackdown to identify and silence Fouad Auni. Several individuals suspected of being the whistleblowers were detained and faced legal action. The Turkish government accused these individuals of being part of a parallel state or a movement seeking to undermine the state. While some of the exposed corruption practice led to a public outcry and legal investigation, the overall impact was limited due to the government's tight control over the judiciary and media. The crackdown on perceived dissidents and whistleblowers intensified, creating a climate of fear and supervision. In summary, the Fort Avni incident exposed significant corruption within the Turkish government, but the harsh treatment of suspected whistleblowers and the limited follow-up on the revelation highlights the challenge in addressing corruption in Turkey. This is Subvideo 2C. Finally, let's discuss a major whistleblowing incident in Japan. In 2011, Michael Woodford, the CEO of Olympus Corporation, exposed a massive accounting scandal within the company. Woodford discovered that Olympus has been involved in a long-running scheme to hide a financial losses amounting of a $1.7 billion. The company had used improper accounting practices and a fraudulent transaction to conceal their losses from investors and regulators. After bringing the issues at the attention of the board, Woodford was promptly fired from his position as CEO. He faced significant backlash and personal risk for his action. However, Woodford did not back down and continued to bring the issue lightly by reaching out to the media and regulatory authorities. The scandal had significant repercussions. Japanese and international regulators launched investigation, leading resignation and a prosecution of several top executives at Olympus. The company faced several financial and reputational damages, and it took years to recover. The unethical activities were addressed through the legal actions, and several executives were held accountable. The incident also led to a broader discussion about a corporate governance and a whistleblower's protection in Japan, highlighting the need for strong safeguards for those who expose wrongdoing. In summary, Michael Woodford's whistleblowing at Olympus brought a major scandal to light and led a significant changes within the company, but it also underscored the risk faced by whistleblowers in Japan. This is Subvideo 3A. Let's begin with the Vietnam. Today we will talk about the Nguyen Xuan Phu, a prominent leader in a Vietnam contemporary political landscape. Phu is currently serving as a president of Vietnam and previously held the position of a prime minister. His tenure is notable for the significant influence he has wielded over a Vietnam's economy, reform and development strategies. Xuan Phu's vision has always been clear and transformative. He envisioned Vietnam evolving into a modern industrialization. Under his leadership, the country has experienced significant economical growth. This growth has been driven by policies aimed increasing foreign investment and fostering innovation across various sectors. Phu's strategic approach to economic development has played a crucial role in placing Vietnam on the global economical map. Integrity is the another cornerstone of Phu's leadership. He is generally perceived as a leader with high moral standards. Phu has made combating corruption a top priority, recognizing it as a major issue that undermines public trust and hampers development. Throughout his tenure, he has supported numerous anti-corruption measures and advocated for a greater transparency in government activities. His commitment to the integrity has resonated with many and has been a guidance principle in his governance. Phu's leadership style is also characterized by a leading through example. As a prime minister, he maintained a strong work ethic and placed a high emphasis on efficiency. His approach to governance was hands-on and proactive. Fuchs frequently visited localities to oversee the implementation of government policies, ensuring that his administration directives were being followed and that local issues were being addressed promptly. Setting clear and achievable goals has been hallmark of Phu's administration. His government articulated a clear objective aim at improving Vietnam's global economical position, enhancing infrastructure, and promoting digitalization. These goals were encapsulated in a various national development plans, providing a roadmap for Vietnam progress. Phuc's clear vision and a methodical planning have been instrumental in driving the country's development forward. Nigel Sun Phuc is also known as his encouragement of innovation and entrepreneurship, especially among the youth. He has supported numerous initiatives that provide young entrepreneurs with the resources and the opportunity needed to grow their businesses. By fostering a culture of innovation, Phuc has aimed to position Vietnam as a leader in the global economy, driven by a new generation of forward thinking entrepreneurs. Accountability and the responsibilities are a key aspects of Phu's leadership. He has held a government official to high standards demanding accountability for their performance. Fuchs implemented policies that required great responsibilities for public servants and took a firm stance against the inefficiencies and the corruptions. His efforts to create a more accountable government have helped improve public trust and enhance the effectiveness of governance. Although not frequently, Fouque has shown a willingness to challenge entrenched bureaucratic structures to implement necessary reforms. His approach often involves working with the system to bring about gradual change. This method has allowed him to navigate the complexity of Vietnam's political landscape while still pushing for a meaningful improvement. Providing ethical guidance to his followers has been another important aspect of Fuchs' leadership. His anti-corruption stance and emphasis on transparency have served as a model for others. By advocating for a government that serves the people honestly and efficiently, Fuchs has set a high ethical standard for his administration and for further leaders. Nigel Phuc also exhibits a strong internal locus of control. He firmly believes in his ability to influence Vietnam's future through strategic planning and effective governance reforms. This belief has driven his efforts to implement policy that will have a long-lasting positive impact on the nation. While Phuc is strategic and pragmatic in his approach, his leadership style is not overly Machiavellian. His focus on long-term gains and ethical governance rather than manipulation and short-term benefits. His promulgative approach is balanced by a commitment to ethical principles and sustainable development. One notable example of Fuchs' leadership was his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. His government quick and decisive action, including strict quarantine measures and widespread testing, were praised internally. This measure helped Vietnam keep infection rates low initially and demonstrate Fuchs' ability to manage crises effectively. In conclusion, Sun Phuc's leadership has been instrumental in Vietnam's recent development. His clear vision, integrity, and a focus on accountability and the innovation have played a key role in shaping Vietnam's progress. Phuc's legacy as a leader who prioritized ethical governance and a sustainable growth will continue to influence Vietnam's strategy in the recent years to come. This is sub video 3B. Next, let's discuss Turkey. Today we will talk about the recap Tayyip Erdogan, the current president of Turkey. Erdogan leadership has been highly influential in shaping Turkey's political and economical landscape. Erdogan has a vision of a strong independent Turkey with significant regional influence. His vision includes transforming Turkey into a major global player both economically and politically. Under his leadership, Turkey has pursued ambitious projects and policies aimed to enhancing its stature on the world stage. However, Erdogan's integrity is a subject of a controversy. While he has a strong support base that views him as a protector of a national interest, there have been numerous allegations of corruption and authorization practices against him. These allegations have led a polarized perception of his leadership, with strong supporters on one side and vocal critics on the other. Erdogan presents himself as a pious and a disciplined leader. Emphasizing traditional values, he often portrays himself as a defender of a controversial principle and national pride. However, his critics argue that his actions sometimes contradict the principle he espoused, leading to a complex and often continuous public image. Setting clear goals has been a significant aspect of Erdogan administration. His goals include economical development, increasing Turkey's regional power, and a consolidating political power. To achieve these objectives, his administration has launched a numerous infrastructure projects such as new airports, bridges, and highways. Additionally, Turkey has pursued aggressive foreign policies under Erdogan leadership, aiming to increase its influence in the region. Erdogan encourages loyalty and unity among his followers. He has a strong influence over his party, the AKP, and promotes a narrative of a national pride and resilience. His leadership style often involves rallying his base around a common nationalistic theme and fostering a sense of solidarity among his supporters. Demand for accountability and responsibility are also a prominent in Erdogan's leadership. He demands loyalty and accountability from his subordinates, which often translate into a lack of tolerance for dissent and criticism within the administration. This approach has a lead a centralized and a controlled political environment where dissenting voices are often marginalized. Erdogan has significantly challenged and reshaped Turkey's traditional political and military structures. He has consolidated power and reduced the influence of previously dominant secular institutions. His efforts to reshape the structure have been both praised and criticized depending on one's perspective on his broader political agenda. Providing ethical guidance to his followers in another aspects of Erdogan leadership. His ethical guidance is rooted in nationalized and conservative values. He promotes a vision of a Turkey that aligns with the ideological stance, but this has also a lead to a polarization and a division within the countries. His emphasis and traditional values are not pride resonant with many, but also alienates others who may not share his views. Erdogan has a strong internal locus of control. He believes in his ability to shape Turkey's destiny through decisive and often controversial actions. This belief has driven his efforts to implement policies and reform that he views as essential for the country's future, regardless of the controversies they might stir. Erdogan's leadership style is often described as a Machiavellian. He employs strategic manipulation, control over the media, and supervision of opposition to maintain power. This provocative and sometimes ruthless approach has enabled him to navigate a complex political landscape and maintain his position at the helm of Turkish politics. One significant example of Erdogan leadership is the leading of the 2016 COP attempt. His response was swift and forceful, leading to mass arrest and progress with the military and civil service. Erdogan justified this action as a necessary to protect national security and maintain stability. Through they were also seen as a means to consolidate his power further. In summary, Recep Tayyip Erdogan is a polarizing figure whose leadership style is marked by a strong vision, strategic promulgation, and focus on a consolidating power. His influence on Turkey's political and economical landscape is profound, and his legacy continues to shape their national path forward. This is sub-video 3C. Lastly, let's focus on Japan. Today we will talk about Shinzo Abe, the former Prime Minister of Japan. Abe's leadership was notable for his economical reform and effort to strengthen Japan's international position. Shinzo Abe had a clear vision of revitalizing Japan's economy through his Abenomics policies. These policies include three main concepts. First one is the monetary easing, second one is physical stimulus, and the third one is the structural reforms. Abe aimed to lift Japan out of its prolonged economical stagnation and a deflationary spiral. Additionally, he sought to strengthen Japan's military and enhance its international standing. This vision was central to Abe's tenure and guided by many of his policy decisions. Integrity is a nuanced aspect of Abe's leadership. While his integrity was sometimes questioned due to various scandals during his tenure, he maintained a reputation for being committed to a Japan's national interest and economical recovery. Despite the controversies, many saw Abe as a leader dedicated to a prosperity and a security of a Japan. Abe demonstrated resilience and a strong work ethic throughout his time in office. He was also known for his working long hours and maintaining a visible presence in both domestic and the international affairs. Abe's dedication and preservation set an example for others, showcasing his continental to his role as a prime minister and his determination to achieve his goal. Setting clear goals was a hallmark of Abe's administration. His goal focused on economical recovery, increasing Japan's self-defense capability, and reversing the pacifist constitutions. These goals were central to his policy agenda and were pursued through various legislative and executive actions. Abe's clear articulation of this goal helped provide a coherent direction for his administration. Abe encouraged innovation and international cooperation. He promoted Japan's technological advancement and support international trade agreements such as Trans-Pacific Partnership (TTP). By fostering a spirit of innovation and opening Japan to a greater international collaboration, Abe aimed to position Japan as a leader in the global economy. Accountability and the responsibility were important aspects of Abe's leadership. He held his cabinet and government officials accountable, often reshuffling his cabinet to ensure effective governance. However, some critics argue that not all members were held to the same standard, pointing out instances where political consideration may have influenced decisions. Abe also challenged authority by advocating for his revision of Japan's post-war Pacific constitution. This move aimed to allow Japan to have a more active military role, reflecting his vision of a stronger and more assertive Japan. However, the stance faced significant domestic opposition, illustrating the continuous nature of constitutional revers in Japan. Providing ethical guidance to his followers was a part of Abe's leadership. Though it was sometimes complicated by scandal, he also promoted a vision of a strong and prosperous Japan aligned with his policy's goal. However, occasional ethical lapses within the administration undermine this stance, highlight the challenging of maintaining ethical leadership in a complex political environment. Abe excited a strong internal locus of control, believing in his ability to drive Japan's future through decisive economical and political reforms. This belief fueled his efforts to implement bold policies and navigate the challenges of leadership. His conviction in the strategies underscored his approach to a governance. Strategically, Abe's leadership could be described as a Machiavellian. He often employed political maneuvering to achieve his goal. His approach to reversing the constitution and implementing economical policies reflected a pragmatic, if sometimes controversial strategies. Abe's ability to navigate the political landscape and push through his agenda demonstrated his strategical acumen. One notable example of Abe's leadership is in his implementation of Abenomics. This comprehensive economic strategy aimed to review Japan's stagnant economy through aggressive monetary policy, physical stimulus, and structural reforms. While the results of Abenomics were mixed, the approach showed Abe's willingness to take bold steps to address economical challenges and his commitment to revitalization Japan's economy. In conclusion, Shinzo Abe's leadership was characterized by a clear vision, strategic pragmatism, and a commitment to revitalizing Japan's economy and a global standing. His tenure as a prime minister left a lasting impact on a Japan, shaping its economical policies and international relations. This is sub-video 4, whistleblowing as a leadership activity. Whistleblowing can be indeed as seen as form of a leadership. It involves taking initiative, showing courage and acting the interests of a great good, often a significant personal risk. Let's delve into how whistleblowing aligns with key leadership characteristics. First one is the vision. Leaders have a vision for a better future. Whistleblowers to envision an environment free of corruption, fraud, and unethical behavior. By exposing wrongdoing, they strive to create more transparent and accountability society or organization. Second one is the integrity. Integrity is the central to both leadership and the whistleblowing. Leaders are expected to uphold ethical standards and lead by example. Whistleblowers exhibit integrity by standing up against unethical practices even when it means facing a personal or a professional consequences. Third one is the good examples. Effective leader sets a good example for others to follow. Similarly, whistleblowers demonstrate moral courage, inspiring others to act ethically and responsibly. Fourth one is the clear goals. Both leader and whistleblowers work towards clear objectives. Leaders set and pursue goals for their organization or community, while whistleblowers aim to stop harmful practices and promote justice. Fifth one is the encourages others. Leaders encourage and empower their followers. Whistleblowers, by exposing wrongdoings, encourage others to speak up and foster a culture of accountability and transparency. Sixth one is the demands accountability and the responsibility. Leaders hold their teams accountable for their actions. Whistleblowers demand accountability from those in power, pushing for corrective measures and responsible behavior. Seventh one is challenges authority. Effective leaders are not afraid to challenge the status quo to bring about positive change. Whistleblowers challenge authority by exposing misconduct, often facing significant opposition. Eighth one is provides ethical guidance. Leaders provide ethical guidance to their followers, setting standard for behaviors. Whistleblowers provide an ethical guidance by highlighting deviations from accepted norms and advocating for adherence to ethical practices. Ninth one is the internal locus of control. Both leader and whistleblowers believing in their ability to influence outcomes. Whistleblowers take control of their situation by bringing issues to light, demonstrating a proactive approach to problem solving. Tenth one is the Machiavellian. The characteristics involve strategic manipulation. While leaders may use strategic thinking to achieve their goals, effective leaders and whistleblowers alike strive for transparency and ethical decision making rather than manipulation. Similarities between whistleblowing and leadership. Ethical commitment. Both involve a strong commitment to ethics and integrity. Second one is courage. Both require significant courage to act in the face of potential backlash. Third one is influence. Both aim to influence positive change with their organization or society. Fourth one is the responsibility. Both take responsibility for addressing issues and driving improvement. When we talk about the difference between the whistleblowing and the leadership, then the first one is the scope of influence. Leaders typically hold formal position of authority and influence over a broader scope, while whistleblowers may not hold formal authority but can influence specific issues or cases. Second one is the roles and the responsibilities. Leaders are responsible for guiding their organization or teams towards achieving goals. Whistleblowers focus on exposing and addressing specific wrongdoing. Third one is the risk level. While both face risks, whistleblowers often face higher personal and professional risks without support structure available to formal leaders. Fourth one is the objective. Leaders aim to build and sustain their organization, whereas whistleblowers aim to correct and improve their environments by addressing misconducts. So, in conclusion, whistleblowing embodies many leadership qualities such as the integrity, courage, and a commitment to ethical behavior. While there are differences in the scope and nature of their influence, whistleblowers can be seen as a leader in their own right. They challenge unethical practices, hold individuals and organizations accountable, and inspire others to act ethically. Both roles and essentials in fostering transparency, accountability, and ethical standards in our societies. Thank you, Professor. Here is the end of my assignment. 4. Thank you.